Still gonna go to the beach though. Get sandblasted. Hey everybody, welcome back to Disappointing Your Demons. My name is Ron, a grateful recovering alcoholic. Today's video, I haven't posted one in a while because I've actually been kind of having a tough time coming up with what I want to talk about. But I actually was talking with somebody and I think I came up with something that a lot of us can relate to, but none of us really ever talk about. We always talk about the damage and the hurt and the impact of our addictions on our families, our friends, loved ones, significant others, people like that. But we never really talk about the damage that we do to ourselves. And I'm not really talking about the physical damage, like, the liver damage or, any of that, our internal organs. I'm talking about the emotional pain and the emotional damage that we inflict upon ourselves. And a lot of times it gets swept under the rug. Again, I'm not a doctor or a therapist or anything like that. I'm just talking about my experiences as a raging alcoholic. But I constantly was getting into conversations lately about, like, loved ones bring up to me and you know what you did while you were drinking, or this you said while you were drunk, or getting shown a video of my antics, and and that all contributes to what I'm talking about too, because a lot of the times I don't or didn't remember any of what I said or any of what I did, or just things are a total blank. And then you see it and you're like, damn, like, fuck, like, well, I really said that, I really did that. And things like that, like, take a toll on you. And like, the things that you do remember take a toll on you too, and the situations you get yourself into. And I made a video about self-loathing, and I really think that this is kind of, it relates to that a little bit, but it's not the same thing. Like, the stuff that you did leads to the self-loathing, but, like, I'm talking about, like, the trauma, like I hate that word sometimes, like, it's just such like a buzzword and cliche, but I guess I don't have a better term for it, but like the trauma that you inflict upon yourself when you're actively drinking, like, and a lot of it's stuff, like the stuff that you would never do, sober, for sure. But it takes a toll on you. And it's all stuff that, not only do you have to heal from the things that you've experienced just through life in general, but then you have to heal from all the things that you have done while addicted, while actively using. And some good examples are, like, I talked in one video about my last days of drinking while I was married up in Massachusetts, of screaming at my daughter. And beyond the self-loathing, it's like that hurts too, because somebody, and it's weird. I'll try to put it into words. It's like somebody else hurt your child so bad, and it sober me, and even drunk me, but sober me is so protective of my kids. And it's like, oh man, if anybody else did that, I would freaking end them. But except it was me. I did that. And then so you think to yourself, like, man, like, and you emotionally and mentally beat yourself up over it. We're our own worst enemies, we're our own worst critics, and I mean, there's so many times and so many things that I did that, like, again, like, if I was on the outside looking in, I would punch that motherfucker in the mouth. Except it's me. And then, not to get too candid or too what's the right, to, I don't know, not to like share too much information, I guess, but like, you you wake up next to somebody and you don't even remember meeting them, and you definitely slept with them, and you're like, and maybe, and, a lot of people probably did that with me. They wake up next to me and they're like, oh my god, like who? That's great. Sorry, there's somebody peeling out down the road. But anyways, and they think that's great, and then you got to deal with that too. Like, oh, I'm the bad choice. I'm the worst decision, or the bad decision of the night, and you know, uh, so how does that make you feel? Things like that, and then the things that you do to get your drug of choice. I mean, I ruined myself financially, and to drink and drug. Like, I mean, I make a healthy living, and my bank account practically always read zero because I literally spent all my money on drugs and alcohol. Up to, I didn't spend enough to like make myself homeless, or I didn't spend enough where I couldn't like support my kids, but I was literally just giving myself and my kids and everybody like literally the bare minimum. It's like, and I'm trying to get this across as best I can, and I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of it, but like, you hurt yourself in ways that you wouldn't hurt your worst enemy, and you're doing it to yourself, and you're doing it willingly. Well, maybe not willingly. I mean, depending on how you look at things, like your addiction is leading you down that path, but essentially you're doing it willingly. And then, talk about like legal troubles and all that other stuff. Like, man, but we never really discussed that. And I don't know why that is. I mean, is it because we put other people ahead of ourselves? Is it because, a lot of people are like, well, you did it to yourself, so you have nobody else to blame. So, tough shit. And I mean, to an extent, there is a little bit of that, and a little bit of that is good, because I think it kind of can keep you centered, and knowing that it's all self-inflicted can hopefully tend to keep you away from picking back up once you've gotten sober. But yeah, and trying. So I'm going to talk about something, and in my last video, I had ended the video with something that my wife had said about me being a good husband and the husband that she always wanted. Well, and going with the theme of self-inflicted and things that you do to hurt yourself. Some things happened in our relationship while I was drinking. A lot of things happened in our relationship while I was drinking. And it was very damaging, both to myself and to her. And when I was at the very last days of my drinking, like I said, she had one foot out the door. And things happened. I'm not going to get into all the details. Don't need to get into all the details because it's really like none of anybody's business. And she's a great woman. But things just happened, and so much damage done while drinking, and then things happen in sobriety that you think things are going to go one way and they go the opposite direction, and there's things that can't really control. And we decided after 5 months of me being sober, and after trying to call it quits. And that hurts too, and that is still the fallout from drinking and drugging, and things just aren't puppy dogs and rainbows. But why I mentioned this, and she's a great woman. She's a great woman, and she put up with my shit for far too long. Most people would have told me to kick rocks long before, and she tried. And I do love her, and It's just one of those things that happens in life and in sobriety that you just kind of have to deal with. But the point is that, it still hurts too to know that I had done things and pushed somebody to the point that we're at right now. And how do I heal from that too? So what do we do about it? What do we do about this pain that we cause ourselves? What do we do about this hurt that we cause ourselves through our actions? I mean, we can do one of a few things, I suppose. I could just immediately go back to the bottle and pick up that poison and kill all the feelings that I have inside me. And that used to be my go-to. And, I wavered a little bit too. I did. I wavered. I didn't pick up a drink. I picked up a phone. I talked to my sponsor. I talked to my therapist. I talked to my friends. Hold on one second. The car barge is coming. It's going to get noisy, so I'm going to pause the video. All right, it's gone. Sorry about that. Okay, I lost my train of thought. But and so here's the other thing too about this whole thing is that, like, I don't know what category to put this in on these videos, or self-loathing, or the hurt or damage or whatever. But because I'm so damaged, and because I had and still sometimes have, esteem issues, I guess, or I feel a certain way about myself or whatever. Like, when I first met her, I tried to warn her off of me. Like, I tried. I told her, like, I'm not good. I don't want a relationship. Like, I'm not what I'm not like what you want to get into a relationship with. Like, and other people did too, and even family members tried telling her, like, or told her, like, tried to warn her off me, and how that makes me feel like fucking crap too. But at the same time, like, I understand it. Like, they're not wrong. Maybe I again, talking with my therapist, I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but talking with my therapist, like, there are people out there that are just not meant for relationships, or just whatever, and I think I'm one of them. But, like, I guess I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm getting sidetracked. Point is, like, I had such a view of myself, and have hurt myself so bad that I even myself know that, like, I was no good for her. Like, I was going to hurt her. I know, and that makes me feel a certain way. It makes me feel, pretty low sometimes. But I was honest, though. I was honest. I am honest, especially in sobriety, honest engine. And I'm, all right, before everybody starts freaking whining and crying, I'm Native American, so, I can say whatever the hell I want. But it's just, there's a lot of pieces to pick up. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that are still scattered about that need to be put in their place. And I still need to heal myself and fix myself before I'm ever going to be good for anybody else, if I ever do get to that point. But which brings me to how I kind of want to close this out is, how do you heal from it? What do you do about it? Can I just sit there, or should I just sit there? And is one of the solutions to sit and have a pity party for myself and just go, woe is me, and or any of those things? And the answer to that is no. Like, that is not my style at all. I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself and go, oh no, another, and then certainly not going to blame anybody else for it. It's my fault, and that's how I feel like you deal with it is that you own it. You own your role in the disaster. You own that you did certain things that led to a certain outcome. You own that at one point in your life you were a different person. You were under the influence of mind-altering substances and you did some fucked up shit during that. And then you freaking move on. You work through it. You realize that you do it, and you use that as another tool in your tool bag, or your tool bag, in your toolbox, to keep you from freaking going back to that way again. Don't sit there and hate yourself over it. There's a difference. There's a healthy way of doing it and a not healthy way of doing it. But you freaking own it, and you work through it, and you work on it, and you use it, and you move on. Don't sit there and wallow in the past. Don't sit there and think about all the things that you did wrong and let it fester. Own it and move on and realize that you are trying to better yourself. You are trying to be a better person. You are trying to make things, make a life for you that's second to none. You can't undo the shit that you've done. You can't undo the hurt that has befallen you. But what you can do is you can fix it and you can work, moving forward, you can make sure you don't repeat the same behaviors. You can change your lifestyle, you can change your ways and become a better person for it. Sobriety isn't all about, sobriety isn't just like a fucking snap of the fingers and then everything's better. Sobriety just doesn't, you don't just magically wake up, you don't just wake up one day and everything's magically fixed. They're saying clear away the wreckage of your past. Like there's just a million different directions that life could go, a million different trajectories that life can take moving forward from the day that you decide to put down the bottle, to put down that shovel that you've been using to dig yourself another rock bottom. And quite honestly, and if you guys don't agree with or like the whole God thing, I don't know what to tell you, but I firmly believe that he steers the ship now. My only job is to stay sober. Things will come at you, good things and bad things. And also, moving forward, when it comes time to make a decision about anything, really just sit there and ask yourself, how's this going to affect me? Is this going to add another hurt? Is this going to add another bad memory? Is this something that 10 years from now I'll look back on and laugh or cry about? Maybe both. But you need to ask yourselves those questions now. And but yeah, just admit that we're not perfect. Admit that you are faulty. Admit that you have faults. Recognize that you're only human and that you make mistakes. And you will make mistakes up until the day you die. I will anyway. I used to joke around and say I am the king of bad decisions. And to some extent that is still true. But I guess maybe keeping those bad decisions down to a minimum. That's the goal. Anyways, I guess that's all I got. I will close this out by saying, just continue to love yourself. That's all you can do, and be the best you that you can be. Just be the best you that you can be. And I'm not saying be perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. But just be the best you that you can be moving forward, and know that in most of your decisions you had your best, the best intentions at heart. I don't think you can go wrong with that. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and please hit the like and subscribe button. If nobody's told you today, you are beautiful, you are loved, and you are worth it. Thank you.